Hi, this is Kerry. In one of my other videos, I mentioned the idea of using tarot cards for spells, and several people asked me about that, so I thought that today I'd do a video specifically looking at how to use tarot cards in spell working. The basic idea is that we use the tarot cards as a kind of map of what we want the spell to do, looking, for example, at where we are now. If there's, say, bickering, either at home or school or work, and everyone seems to be getting into arguments and fighting one another, we might want a more fair perspective, a bit of justice, and some rational thought rather than just getting into fights, that would allow us to bring some clarity, to speak our truth, and to find a way forward that would be positive and helpful. So we can use tarot cards as a kind of visual map of what the issue is, what we're going to do about it, and what we want to achieve with that. You could also change the positionings around, depending on what's useful for you or your particular need. Another example would be if you're suffering from heartache and sorrow, feeling like the heart's been torn out of you, perhaps you need to take some time to recognize what has caused this feeling of loss so that you can pull out of it, move away from it. And this might be a process that takes a couple of different stages, you could know that, so that then you can find your own inner calm, a sense of being uplifted, and ultimately find new happiness. You don't necessarily need to use a single deck for this. For example, you could take the heartache in one card, combine it with a way of dealing with that heartache through journaling, for example, and have your goal be to feel truly happy and radiant again. Within the cards we can find almost any kind of issue that we want to solve and way of dealing with it. For example, being stuck in a negative relationship, perhaps we just can't say no to this person. So we need to find our courage, our strength to set our boundaries, to determine our own path with the Chariot, and that will open us up eventually to the Two of Cups, or Dancer 2 in this Tarot of the She, finding our soulmate. You might only want where you are now with the Devil, being addicted to this relationship that isn't working, and where you want to move to, happiness and love. You might find one particular deck speaks to you more than another. It says exactly what you want. For example, that was the Devil card from the Tarot of the She. Here we have the Devil from the Fae Tarot, which speaks to me more about, for example, eating disorders, problems around food, binge eating, or any kind of addiction where you just can't stop yourself. And perhaps you feel like you need some strength to tame that inner beast. Or you might find that really what you need is to nurture yourself a little bit more so that you don't have those cravings because they're being satisfied in a more positive way. And that will lead you to a new hope, a vision of where you want to move towards, a feeling of peace and well-being. It could be that you feel like your world has just been completely shattered and you need to tune into yourself again, to take some time out to figure out what would be most healing for you so that you can find that way of cleansing yourself, of ridding yourself of that burning pain and finding some cool clarity and calm. Of course, you could do these things with images that you pulled from magazines, for example, or something like that. But I think tarot cards are especially good, partly because of their archetypal energies, partly because you can then use them for doing readings, and partly because they have the expression of so many things already in them. Being in a spot where you have to make what might be a quite difficult decision, or feeling overburdened, overwhelmed with responsibilities, feeling trapped, perhaps by your own ideas, perhaps by something going on around you, being stuck in loss and mourning, not being able to look towards the future, feeling like your life is just completely over, feeling like you've been humiliated, defeated, being trapped in addictions or in fears, dealing with your own inner shadow, being overwhelmed by choices and not knowing which path to take, worrying, unable to sleep, suffering from insomnia, going through a period of hardship, poverty, ill health, feeling constantly defensive, under attack, not good enough, or just that everything has been shattered. And of course, there are also positives, things that you can do or places that you want to get to. Finding new inspiration, feeling alive again, trusting your own intuition with the High Priestess, getting a new burst of energy with the Ace of Wands, finding true love, a soul partner with the Two of Cups, succeeding at what you set out to do with the Six of Wands, moving away from a difficult situation towards something healthier and happier, Six of Swords, being able to celebrate something, lay the foundation of something positive and joyful, Four of Wands, nurturing yourself or some project that you have, Queen of Pentacles, manifesting your will with the Magician, making good choices, finding love, getting the right mix of ingredients or finding a more balanced way of living with Temperance, taming your inner beast with Strength, becoming truly independent and creating abundance in your life with the Nine of Pentacles, happiness in family relationships with the Ten of Cups, finding a guiding light, a star, something to lead you towards new hope, completing something, feeling that the world is a beautiful place, dancing with joy. So tarot cards lend themselves very well to this kind of work because of their archetypal energy. What I tend to do is to lay the cards out on my altar, and then, let me back this up a little, you can have your altar set up, pray to Spirit in whatever form feels right to you, and have the cards on your altar for as long as it takes for you to really cement this for yourself. It would be a good time to do it on one of the Esbats, so with the moon cycles. And for example, you might find that if you want to focus on what you want to get rid of from your life, then doing this as a spell at the start of the waning moon would be a good time, and you could build your spell around that, making the focus being letting go or banishing something from your life. If it's the new moon or the full moon, you could focus on what it is you want to bring into your life or what you want to achieve. So you can change the focus of the wording that you use depending on the time of the month. So you use the moon's power to help support you in your spell. You use the cards as a kind of roadmap. They're the backbone for your spell, the roadmap of where you want to go to. And then you create your own words. Just say something simple and heartfelt after casting your circle and calling spirit. And you can either leave these on your altar for a while so that you are reminded of them frequently and you bring your intention to this spell time and again. Or, for example, you could slowly over time, as the moon wanes fully, for example, slowly banish that card, see it disappearing from your life, and the focus moving to what you can do. Then at the full moon, when you have your maximum power to act, you could bring justice to the fore. And then later on, when you want to create something, you could start with the waxing moon and focus on what you want to bring into your life and end just with that. So you'd follow the moon cycles through and change which card is predominant, or maybe have a little bit of both still working through. The way that you lay the cards out even will act as a trigger symbolically for your magical consciousness to do this spell. So those are just a few suggestions. I hope that you found this helpful. Blessed be.